A very good evening to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Evening Review. My name is Tewon Jabela. Tonight on the platform, we welcome back a regular guest, that is William Minnie. He is the Deputy National Spokesperson of the Landless People's Movement. The party has been at each other's throats with the Electoral Commission of Namibia, ECN, regarding the registration of candidates for the November 26 election, that is the regional and local authority election. And William is here to clarify some of the things and debunk some of the statements made by the ECN. Thank you for joining us, Mr. William. Tell us about, so basically ECN says, they issued a statement late last week.
Yes.
And they are saying they view with extreme seriousness the unfounded allegations propagated by LPM in recent media reports, including an article in the Namibian in which it was claimed that ECN deliberately blocked their nominations, that is now LPM's nominations for local authority councils. What's happening here?
Firstly, good evening, Toivo. Thank you for having me again. I think we must remain cognizant of the fact that each and every year there's an issue in regard to the ECN. And I don't know who advises them in terms of their systems, but this year they decided to introduce a system called the PPCM, which is for political parties and candidates management in terms of uploading of names. And this particular system, for some reason, it's a very new system. It's a new system, and they decided that they are going to test it this particular year. And in this process, you had to sit physically at the ECN, right? You had to delegate a team, which is formed by the authorized representatives of the parties, and each party was allocated a desktop, and you had to manually upload names of candidates for RC as well as the local authority. And knowing the ECN and its systems and its portals, it's never fully functional, ever. So during this process, the system constantly had glitches, and we addressed these glitches constantly, numerous times. We fully understand and we are aware that on the 26th of September 2025, the President gazetted the date for nominations, which was basically which opened from the 26th of September up until the 16th of October. But during that whole process, nothing could ever be properly uploaded. But funny enough, Toivo, when the system glitches appeared, it was basically only in the areas where we govern. No other areas. We didn't have those failures in the Omaike region. We didn't have those failures in Omaruru, but only in both Hardap and the Karas region. Is that not funny? How ironic that it's only in those two regions that our uploads failed. And then they say, you must go to the returning officers. You go to the returning officers says, no, but according to the PPCM, all uploads must be done at the ECN head office. So is it not ironic? So I don't know what the ECN is talking about here constantly. I believe that as a country, we must be tired of the ECNs lying, because at this point, they are impeaching on people's right to vote. Because if I'm a resident of Stamford, and I want to vote for the LPM, and the ECN has blocked the LPM from having its local authority candidates, that means that you've infringed upon my Article 17.
Yeah. So in the end, as a result of those glitches, what happened?
As a result of those glitches, we are unable to contest in those particular local authorities.
The party is not contesting in those local authorities at all?
At all.
Wow.
Now tell me how that makes sense.
Wow, man, that is very, very serious.
It's a very serious problem. And then the ECN must issue a statement like this, a very nonsensical statement like this. I think the problem also is that ECN does not realize the severity of these issues. And if, for example, we must remain privy to these things, in the event that my generation and the generation after mine gets tired and loses faith in the electoral system as well as the judiciary of the country and acts like the youth of Nepal, Tanzania, and the Ivory Coast, then people should not be surprised nor be shocked.
So which specific local authorities are you not participating in? As a
For
party?
example, Ludretz, Beersheba, Patani, Gibeon, Stamprit, Aranos, just to name a few.
So, did you guys come to upload your things at last minute? I mean, if you
There
tried,
was no last minute at all.
because I would imagine that if you tried maybe a week in advance prior to the deadline and nothing works, you ought to have been assisted, isn't it?
We were assisted.
And then why are you still not
The
contesting?
question must be so the portal, this PPCM portal, so once you upload names, it automatically, when the names are submitted fully, automatically generates a type of a certificate, right? So then the question must be, after we've received the certificate, so you upload the thing, you get the certificate, and then it must show and reflect in that particular locality. And those returning officers must be able to see it on their portal. Tell me exactly why, while we have that certificate that says we uploaded, it does not reflect at the returning officers.
Because here ECN says, the commission, that is now ECN, confirms that the use of the PPCM that you just referred to,
Yes.
introduced in 2024 as an administrative tool designed solely to assist the commission, political parties and candidates in streamlining the nomination process, reducing paperwork and enhanced due diligence. Okay, that is, I suppose that is now the rationale of the system.
But then the rationale of the system also does not make sense.
In what sense?
Because what guideline is there that provides legal basis for the PPCM? For example, when the e-justice system was introduced, it had to be gazetted. So it then became part of the High Court Act 14 of 2016, right? And then it became part of the High Court rules and prescribed directives. So you know that according to the rules of the High Court and according to the Act, there is an e-justice system. So they did away with manual things, they did away with the paperwork, and then the e-justice system was adopted. Where in the Gazette does it speak about the PPCM? Where does it speak about this new system? Because according to my knowledge, then that system is unlawful, because that system has caused an impeachment on the Article 17 of our people. You have denied the people the right to vote. And you speak about administrative failures. We cannot solely just read statements. The administrative failure needs to be rectified.
I get that, but I mean, you are raising a valid point, but if you participated in that process, you are just validating what you are now saying is an ungazetted and therefore unlawful practice.
Yes, and we included it in our letter of demand through our lawyers, Brokorov and Associates, which the ECN did not respond to.
What are you demanding in that letter? What are you saying in the letter?
What we are demanding, at that point, what we were demanding is that open up the system up until the 21st of October. Because they opened up the system the morning of the 17th of October. You must remember that the period stopped on the 16th. They opened it up from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the 17th of October. So let me tell you about the 17th of October. Our team was sitting at the ECN headquarters. So you're manually uploading names for about 15 minutes and then suddenly the system shuts down. And then you have to wait for the IT technician, and then the IT technician comes and then works on the system again for 1 hour. And then the same process constantly repeats itself. So if those are the issues that were there, then what time is there to rectify and fully upload our candidates' names? Because then, according to my political knowledge, you've only done it for show, to say that you did extend the time, but you actually didn't extend the time.
ECN says here that the statutory requirement dictates that nominations or nomination lists must be submitted to the respective returning officers of the local authority area concerned. The ECN head office served
That was
only.
not the case.
The ECN head office served only as a help desk to address queries, and ECN staff that were and ECN staff there were not legally mandated to accept official nominations.
That was not the case.
What was not the case?
What they're stating there. When you go to the returning officers, the returning officers specifically tell you all nominations are done at the ECN head office because of this PPCM system. You had to utilize the portal, and no returning officer accepted a manual upload. None. We were turned away by returning officers and told ECN head office, PPCM.
So this statement is a part now, which is more exciting perhaps for those that are watching. It is under the headline now, LPM's failure to comply. So now they are addressing now LPM. They say LPM successfully submitted nominations for some regional council elections and some local authority elections that were ready by 11 o'clock, by the 11 o'clock deadline on the 16th of last month, using now the portal. However, some of LPM's local authority submissions were non-compliant in that they failed to meet the legal requirements concerning gender proportionality or the allocation of the correct numbers of candidates as required by law.
We met the requirements.
They said you did not. They're the authority on that subject. They tick the boxes.
Says, in a local authority where there are, for example, 7 seats, in the first 7 names, there must be at least a representation of 3 females. All our lists had 3 females in the first 7 names. All of them. But then you check, for example, and I can make a very clear example. If you look at Carl Grant's local authority list, if you look at that village council's list, there are 5 people. 5. 3 of them are men. But that's not the legal requirement. For gender proportionality, it's supposed to be 3 women and 2 men. But SWAPO failed that requirement, but went through. So why are we lying?
So clarify it for me. So council has a total of 5 seats.
Yes, village council.
Well, yes. And the ruling party submitted 4 women and 3 men. Is that what you're saying?
No, 3 men, 2 women. But the legal requirement is 3 women, 2 men.
And they went through.
And they went through.
You can vouch for that.
And they went through.
Okay. No, but I don't know if it's just, of course, they're talking about gender proportionality. And
we met every single requirement. You must remember that that system opened, the process of nomination opened on the 26th of September and closed on the 16th of October. So during that period, we knew what the gender requirements were and we followed it. We met the requirements. If there was any issue, we fixed each and every issue according to the law. But it's very funny to me, Toivo, that in only the 2 regions that we govern, those issues occurred. Is it not funny?
Let's go for a break and return with William, Minnie. Our conversation with William Minnie, the Deputy National Spokesperson of LPM, continues on the evening review now. First, ECN accuses your party of,
as it always does,
of failing to meet the gender proportionality element. But the second accusation is that by close of nominations at 11 o'clock on the 16th of October, your party did not submit nominations.
That is untruthful.
For the following local authorities through now that portal: Riobot, Tses, Ludrets, Bethany, Stamprit, Haranos, and Besaba. You had not, apparently, by 11 o'clock.
I love the fact that you said apparently.
Yeah, of course, I wouldn't
Because
know.
if
Yeah.
that is where your stronghold is, we must use common sense sometimes. If that is where the stronghold of the party is, do you not think that those places would have first priority to us in terms of uploading? Why would we upload a town where we only have one seat first, as opposed to where we have, for example, 4?
I hear you. Because, I mean, for me, this is just strange. It cannot be in 2025 where the trail of papers exists through the technology that we have, that this is a he says, she says
Let ECM
battle.
release the paper trail.
Yeah.
Let them release the paper trail. Because I would think that an electoral commission, which is basically, quote unquote, standing on its ground, I would have expected that the paper trail is released in conjunction with the press statement.
So there was an extension. This is what ECN is saying. There was an extension still, after recognizing that there are errors. They identified errors that different political parties made. They granted an extension
From 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
to all affected parties, organizations, associations, and candidates, including LPM. They're saying that, including LPM. This extension for rectification, so from 11 until 5, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on that day. During this granted extension period, LPM, as one of the affected parties, successfully corrected errors identified in nominations of 18 out of 20 local authorities. This fact confirms that LPM utilized and benefited from the administrative mechanisms put in place by ECN and subsequently complied with that. So
if we rectified these issues, as they are saying, fully, as they are saying, do you think that we would have a problem today?
I think what ECN is trying to say here, they can speak for themselves, but what I'm deducing from their statement is that LPM is not taking accountability for the laxity with which you approach this thing. They seem to suggest that you were simply not up to speed with the way you were doing things.
Based on this statement, all I hear is allegation, 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 allegation. I would expect the Electoral Commission of Namibia to come with a paper trail to support their allegations.
Yeah, I think there's a platform for that to happen.
Because we are not the only political party which also experienced issues. The AR also experienced issues. So did the Windhoek Ratepayers Association, also experienced issues. Sean Gariseb also went to court through his lawyers Kadila Momo regarding the issues. So if these political parties, including the LPM, are lying, where's the paper trail to substantiate their claims?
So Sean Gariseb, the court vindicated ECN actually.
I read that judgment, but I didn't read it fully.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I must say that our cadres, of course, the Ratepayers Association, we are the opposition, and we would like to believe that we have one common goal. I believe that my brother Sean Gariseb filed in the wrong place, which is in the High Court and not in the Election Tribunal, which is in the Magistrates Court. Perhaps it would have been better. However, I believe that we are coming to a time and a period whereby the people of this country are losing faith in the electoral system as well as the judiciary of the country.
Yeah.
How many times has ECN not been taken to court? And how many times has ECN won? Then you must also start questioning if we can see that the ECN is deliberately sabotaging opposition parties. Because why is it that SOPA does not have issues like these?
So I don't understand then, William. If ECN here says then that after the extension, you successfully, as a party, you successfully corrected errors
That is untrue.
that were identified in 18 out of 20, meaning only 2 were left uncorrected, if that is my interpretation. So, in other words, if that is the case, why do you still have this many
local authorities where we are not contesting?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can see the contradiction from the side of the ECN.
Yeah, no, they are giving a chronology. They are saying that you didn't have representatives in those areas, then the extension was granted, and eventually you had 18 out of 20. So there's that chronology to say somehow gradually you corrected yourselves. And what I would have thought is that after that, you wouldn't have this long list still, where you are saying today.
I don't believe that as a party we would be fighting so hard if we corrected these issues. That's the problem that we have with the ECN as a country. The ECN must come to a point where it can take accountability and say they don't understand their own technology. They introduced a system that they don't know. They introduced a system that failed the country. They introduced a system that has impeached on people's right to vote. They must take accountability. And when is the ECN ever going to reach a point where it's going to take accountability and say, colleagues, we introduced a system that we don't understand and we have failed you? When is the ECN ever going to come to a point like that? I don't think that the ECN has it in them. Because at this point, it's playing as if it's an extension of the SWAPO party headquarters.
There was, I know, I think in the southern parts, IPC also had an issue. I just can't recall what it was. They also butted heads with ECN. And SWAPO also lodged a complaint at one point, not too long ago, I think during the month of October, against ECN. So, them being, would you complain against this invisible extension of you if you were a SWAPO party?
Why are we acting as if we don't know politics?
No.
Why are we acting as if we don't know politics?
Look, I have serious misgivings about the way ECN conducts elections in this country. I've been on record time and again, especially the way the 2024 election was conducted. I felt that it left a lot to be desired. And if some of these things are true, what we are seeing, I don't know how much accountability LPM is ready to take. Because what I'm reading from here is that there seems to be also a portion of the blame that you ought to take as a political party, to the extent that by the time the deadline hit, when everybody else did their things, you did not, and you got an extension.
I don't even think that makes logically sense.
The what?
It doesn't make logically sense. In our strongholds that you guys would think we would play.
Yeah.
No one would do that in their right mind. We are not as incompetent as people think we are. We gave priority to our stronghold areas. But if the president of the country makes a statement that somehow suggests that certain things need to be done in order for the SWAPO party to win back the South, would you still have faith in the ECN?
What did the president say in that
That
regard?
the SWAPO party must win back the southern regions.
As any leader would say.
Of course. And then suddenly, coincidentally,
no, even my good friend Mr. Swarboy can say that he can make the same statement to say we want the Rongo now, we want Oshana. He can say that.
But do we influence the ECN?
No. I don't think the president was speaking to ECN when she said that. She was just speaking to the party.
That's your interpretation?
No, she's just saying the party in that region, the representatives of SWAPO in
I don't think you should take Jonas Mbambo's job from him.
No, that's not what
I
I'm
don't
doing.
think you should take Jonas's job. He's a very he's a very good press secretary. Don't take his job, please.
No, I'm just
Remain Twevo at all times.
I'm just saying the president is not here, so to defend that statement. But I'm just saying my interpretation is political speech to say those on the ground for SWAPO in the South must do whatever is necessary to.
If President Samia Suluhu Hassan could imprison a large portion of opposition leaders, what else do you think a ruling party and a former liberation movement can do to remain in power? And we must not act oblivious to what can be done in African countries by former liberation movements. I
hear you, my brother. No, we appreciate you coming, William. Our time is up, but
thank you, Twevo.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time. Thanks, brother. There is William Minnie. He is the spokesperson, deputy spokesperson, national spokesperson of the Landless People's Movement, talking about the issues, the quarrels that the party has had in recent days against the Electoral Commission of Namibia. Thank you for watching.